Welcome back to Educator.com. This is QuickBooks Lessons Inventory, Units of Measure. We're going to be talking about setting up units of measure and what they are. In QuickBooks, we can only use units of measure utilizing the QuickBooks version Premier or the Enterprise Solutions in QuickBooks. So it's more of the advanced software there. If you're using QuickBooks Pro, you're not going to be able to utilize this section or this module of QuickBooks. Units of measure is something we can actually show prices of different volumes. For instance, we can have prices and rates and costs based on the units of measure, or gallons. We can have volumes of that nature. We can have measurements of inches and millimeters, and we can convert those as well. For instance, if a business purchases some sort of inventory using gallons, and then they could sell that same inventory as gallons. It's unit for unit or measure for measure. We can also certainly look at different measurements as well. We can purchase them in inches and sell them in millimeters or whatever. So we can have conversion rates as well for that. So again, utilizing this function is really only a function of QuickBooks Premier or Enterprise Solutions. QuickBooks will use single units of measure as well as multiple units of measure. In the single units of measure can only be utilized and in the QuickBooks Premier versions, QuickBooks Premier, QuickBooks Premier Nonprofit, or QuickBooks Premier Professional Services. But the units of measure for a single unit and multiple units per measure can be utilized in the accountant version, the Premier Contractor, the Premier Manufacturing and Wholesale, as well as the QuickBooks Enterprise Solutions. So those products of QuickBooks can utilize the multiple units per measure as well. So the first thing what we're going to do is we're going to talk about setting up and how to set up a single unit of measure in QuickBooks. So again, our inventory, our items, are in the item list. A couple of ways to get to our item list. Of course, as you know, we can use the, get this message out of there, we can use the lists and choose item list, or from your home menu, if you go to the right section, where up here it says Chart of Accounts, Inventory Activities, just below the Chart of Accounts should be an icon that says Items and Services. If we click on that, it'll pull up our item list, just as if we went to the list menu and pull down our item list there. So in this measure, we're going to go ahead, in this particular part of the lesson, we're going to add a unit of measure. We're going to do that. So we're going to go down to an existing item that we have under lumber, and we're going to choose our decking. Okay? And we're going to edit that. So I can always hit Control E to edit. Or if I choose item, at the bottom of the window, choose item and choose edit. See where the quick function is, Control E is also right there. So it's going to pull up our item of the decking of lumber. And the thing that we're going to do now is we want to look at the unit of measure and notice that it's not enabled yet. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to click on Enable for this non-inventory part, and we're going to see a couple of options for us: a single unit per item, a multiple unit per item. So we're actually going to say it's a single unit per item. So we're going to click on that because we're going to set this up for this particular item that we're going to be selling. We'll click on Next, and we'll see that we can define and begin defining the units of measure. So we will go ahead and look at length for this particular item. That's inch, foot, yard, meter, etc. And we'll click on Next. Notice the other items you have. There's count, there's each, box, case, etc. There's weight in ounces, pounds, kilograms. There's volume, quart, gallon. There's area, square foot, acre, square meter. There's time, minute, hour, day. So there's variety of units of measure that we can choose from. In this case, for the decking, lumber decking is going to be length. We'll click on Next. And we can measure it in any way we like. We can measure in inches, yards, miles, foot, millimeters, meter. But in this case, it's going to be lumber, and we're going to measure by foot. Select that radial button and click on Finish. It's going to bring us back to the item. Now we have a unit of measure. UM for unit of measure is by foot. We can edit that if we like and go back and say, well, I want to go back and change it and do something else to it. We're going to keep it as foot. Okay? Now that we